Hey everybody, this is Liam Martin from Running Remote, and in today's video we're going to be talking about 6 great remote workbooks to build and scale your remote team. A lot of people are trying to figure out this remote work thing. I mean, I got so many of these books up here that we're going to be talking about in the next couple minutes. It will blow your mind. But there's a lot of information out there now about remote teams. So I thought what I would do is break down what I see as the fundamental books connected to the remote work industry, because I've read a whole bunch of those books, and there's lots of books that you probably have never heard of that I'm going to be talking about, and there are lots of books that you've probably heard of quite a bit that we're going to be talking about as well. So let's get into it. So the first book, which I don't have in front of me, I just moved, is A Year Without Pants by Scott Birkin, which is really the first best-selling book on remote work. It's the story of how Scott worked at WordPress, and some of you may know that up until recently, it was one of the largest remote first companies in the world. And it's just his adventures of working, quote unquote, without pants for a year, where he was working for WordPress. More specifically, the company is called Automatic, which is the company that services WordPress. So really interesting read. Again, that was when remote work was a completely new concept. So if anyone is interested in learning what remote work was like before COVID, this is probably the book for you to check out. Next one I'm going to recommend is Working From Home by Karen Mangia. And that book is right here. I have it in front of me. It's written for more of the employee than the employer, discussing issues like how to manage your kids and move up the corporate ladder. It's really an interesting read if you're a remote employee and not an employer. I found it quite interesting even because I just had a kid, a brand new daughter, Stella, and she's 6 months old, and it's completely redefining my work from home remote work setup. It's this completely new challenge that I've never really been through before. So it was very interesting to read this. I picked up a lot of tips on how to manage kids while you're working remotely. Next one is Remote, Office Not Required by Jason Fried and DHH. DHH has actually been to the Running Remote conference, and he's presented at the Running Remote conference. And those are really the guys that are kind of like the people that put remote work on the map. It's definitely the best seller in the industry. I'm sure that probably this book has sold more than all the other remote work books combined. But the reason why I don't put it at the very top of my list is it's really kind of like Remote 101. So probably not for a lot of people that would be watching a video like this or ever attended Running Remote, but still a really good book to be able to get in the fundamentals about what a remote team is, how to be able to run one effectively, and their personal journey building Basecamp, which is their software company that they built their remote team off of. Next one up on my list is The Remote Revolution by John Elston. This book really connects how to hire remotely, and specifically how to hire location independent workers. I have read this book about a year ago. It's a fantastic read, very passionate kind of perspective on how to be able to hire remote employees. And it's got some really cool photos from their crazy stories of all the stuff that they've done while they were hiring remotely. It's also very much focused on the kind of digital nomad, and that's another really cool aspect of remote work that a lot of people have not been able to get into yet. So highly suggest you check it out, Remote Revolution by John Elston. The next one up on the list is The Long Distance Leader by Wayne Turmel and Kevin Eckenberry. So they review the different challenges you'll have by running a remote team and some of the advantages as well. If you've gotten past the fundamentals, this is a really nice next step and a great book. Next one on the list is Remote Teams Work by Jake Stott and Nick, I always get his last name wrong, Dijkrastra. I hope I didn't kill your name, Nick, which is kind of a passionate plea alluding to how remote teams can actually work. And I'm also in this one. This is me right here, which is along with Saeed, Sarah Sutton, Ovin Reed and Darren Murph is on the other page. So they have a great group of people, experts that have all come together, kind of figuring out, oh, and they also have John Ekman in here, figuring out best practices associated with remote work. It's a little preachy, to be completely honest with you, but I mean, I was in it and I'm definitely preachy about remote work and remote teams, but you know, they do work. If you're watching this video, you obviously know that. So if you've gone through all the books that I've already recommended, I think that this is probably the next step. It's very, very deep, and some of the pragmatic stuff is quite good that I like quite a bit. So also, they talk about some of the rules that may not work inside of remote work. I highly suggest you check it out. It's, for me, probably, this was written during the pandemic, or the pandemic just started. I can't remember. Maybe either of you guys, if you're watching this video, please describe exactly what happened down in the comments below. But I believe this was written either during the pandemic or they started writing it right when the pandemic started. So very interesting kind of perspective. And I think a lot more of those books are going to be popping up very, very soon. So that's all of the suggestions that I have for you. If you have any other suggestions with regards to books that we should be reading, put them down in the comments below. I'd love to be able to check them out. And while you're down there, why don't you like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel? It's completely free, and we talk about this weird stuff all day long. See you in the next video.